fast. I would change the political system. I envision Sierra Leone becoming a place that we begin to study more because of the history of us here. We have to go back now and remember what we have forgotten. And we have to go back and discover what has been hidden from us all along. And it's a painful process. Some people are afraid of books because after they read them, they have to change their way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the painful part.
Ain't that the
And
truth?
so, those of us who can bear the pain, we have a greater responsibility because we know most of us can't. And the main thing is that, I'll say this and end it. Dr. Huey P. Newton, Black Panther Party co-founder, former Minister of Defense. He had something that he always said, and Fred Hampton always quoted it. And it was around the question of the masses of our people at the time still being relatively ignorant, illiterate, still suffering those kind of conditions that colonialism imposes on oppressed people. Not saying that people was dumb or couldn't read, just saying that the situation was bad. You know what I'm saying? We needed them to read a little better. We needed them to do things better. And so he said, whenever you're in that situation and the masses of people don't have their own institutional controls and things like that, and they need to learn a new way of struggle, a victorious way of struggle, not a victimized way of struggle, but a struggle for victory, then they have to make it to where the masses of our people can observe it and they can participate. If the masses of our people cannot observe and participate in what you got going on, chances is it ain't got no revolution to it.
Yeah.
You just probably on your own little thing, feeling good because you helping somebody. But that don't make it revolutionary. Charity is not revolutionary naturally. It has to be connected to the political ideals of African liberation, or it's not Pan-African. And this is the thing that people got to understand. So when we're talking about Sierra Leone, I would like to see more demonstration from the people, particularly in the diaspora, here.
Yeah.
Because I believe that the people here are already preconditioned to absorb Pan-Africanism, if that makes sense to you. Like the first modern day African country to receive Africans from the diaspora back was Sierra Leone. The capital city is the first settlement of any African diasporans coming back. I live here in Freetown, whole capital city. That birthed that was a nursery for a whole Pan-African population. People that came back from the Caribbean, came back from America, came back from London, came back, got off slave ships all over West and Central Africa. They came here and formed a Creole community. That's Freetown. And when you understand that, you realize that Pan-Africanism ain't brand new because somebody walk around calling themselves the prince today. Pan-Africanism, even for us, especially for the diaspora, goes back over 230 years today. Our people had the same ideals that we're talking about being Pan-African then. They just didn't call it that. And we have the evidence of repatriation back then. We have the evidence of violent revolutionary rebellions and plots to overthrow white supremacy in every single form that it existed at any time that our people had been oppressed up until today. That we are part of a continuum. And we have a role, the diaspora have a role, not only in Africa as a whole, but I believe in cycles. I think that things come back the way that they are supposed to be. And I really see Sierra Leone and I see Freetown as a big destination within where we're going with this. Where we're headed with this, I believe this is one of the destinations that has a key role to play.
Yeah.
And I even if I don't have statistics to prove it, I can't convince you spiritually, historically, geographically, for every single reason. When you think about the fact that Marcus Mosiah Garvey was saying that we need a black star liner so that we can independently control import and export and the travel of our people around the world. If they got a white star line, we need a black star line. For those who don't know, when you talk about the Titanic was a ship that was owned by a company called the White Star Line. Garvey said we need a black star line, just so people can understand.
That's why he had that big old ship.
I'm trying to tell you. So the thing is that he wasn't first. Garvey wasn't first. Garvey was following the footsteps of people a century before him. So if we don't have this education, if we're not imparting this education, particularly to countries like this that have a big role to play within that history, they'll never truly see themselves. And I want that for Sierra Leone. I want this country to really see what it produced in us, that we are them. If we out there balling and we out there doing it, it's because of you. It's because we come from here like this. It's because we African. It ain't because we're Asians or we have a Mexican culture or genetic structure. It's because we're Africans that we can survive on the rice plantations. Because we're Africans, we had the knowledge to plant the rice. It's because we're Africans.